the real Transformers Robots in Disguise and RedX review of epic proportions, review of Sky-Byte, one of my all-time favorite Transformer characters of the whole entire Transformers genre. This character had it all. He had seriousness, he had cockiness, he had quite the humor, and he was very popular with the kids in Robots in Disguise. Even though he started out as Cybershark in Beast Wars Transmetals, he never had an appearance in the show. What really started the popularity of this character was when he was repainted into the toy line and into the cartoon series of Transformers Robots in Disguise, or you can better call it Car Robots over in Japan. Today, this has become among most of the fans as one of the greatest characters ever developed in the Transformers genre, that being toy lines or the shows or anything that Sky-Byte has been a part of. As a matter of fact, many people wondered, when would we actually see some of those beloved Robots in Disguise characters? Sorry, I got a little tongue twisted. When would we see them in toy form for the new Transformers Generations line? And it took a while, but we finally got some. We even had a subscription club exclusive, I think, of that Transformers Energon, or maybe it was Cybertron, a repaint of a shark into Sky-Byte. But it just wasn't anything that hit home when it came to what we went through with Sky-Byte in the cartoon, from design and the toy line. So finally, Hasbro listened to us, and we've got ourselves what may be even better than the original Robots in Disguise Sky-Byte, or Cybershark from Beast Wars. And that's what we're looking at today. So, taking 2 minutes away from the video, let's take a look at the package. Like I've been saying, here we are, here it is, let's get to it. So, here is Sky-Byte in peak physical form from what it looks like. The thrilling 30th anniversary with the Predacon symbol. Sky-Byte, Hasbro, ages 5 and up. Level 2 Transformer is a Roadbuster. I did see him, unfortunately I wasn't able to pick him up. Maybe next time. A nice looking Predacon symbol. Sky-Byte on both sides of the package, from this side here and from the front. See if you can get a look at that right there. It's kind of hard. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. On the back, we have a little bit of some stats for Sky-Byte. He's got a bio. Yes. Okay, there you go. Here's your chance to pause the viewer so you can see it for yourselves. Okay. So there's Shark mode, here's his robot mode, which looks pretty cool. He's got a spinning missile launcher, we'll get to that in the review. And here's his stats. As you can see, they're pretty strong. Boy, he is one tough hombre, ain't he? Pretty cool. 30th anniversary logo again, IDW. Join us online at Transformers, Facebook, and YouTube. So anyway, I've taken enough time looking at the package. Let me get him open, test him out for you, and then we'll get to the review of him in his beast mode and robot mode. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Alright, from the get-go, taking this figure out of package, again him transformed into a shark mode, I came across an issue with his missile firing gimmick. The spring on the inside wasn't adjusted properly, so it kept falling out. As soon as I tried to go and fire it for the first time, it just slid right out. So I had to pry this sucker open by removing the screws, and then with enough force I was able to break this off, but not really break it. 2 pegs broke because they were actually glued together, which was a stupid mistake on the part of Hasbro. But anyway, I was able to get it back in place and make sure that it wasn't going to budge this time. So now the missile works properly. So yeah, I was able to fix it. But that's really the only issue I've come across with this figure so far. But, I was going to talk about it during robot mode time. But, I figured I'd just get it out of the way to let you guys know that, yeah, I did have a problem with this figure so far. It's just the one and only problem. but we will see. Anyway, I do like the actual shark mode. The beast mode is very fantastic looking. I really cannot say much in the terms of the paintwork. Now, I have heard that this is what he looks like in those, the modern day Transformer comics that IDW seems to produce, because Sky-Byte was in one issue, I think. I could be wrong. But from what people say, this is what his color scheme looks like, and it is weird. Like, comparing it to the Takara one, or even for a quick comparison, the actual RID version, you can see there's just something about this awkward turquoise color that they're using for the front of his head. It just, I don't know. It kind of grows on me, but right now I still am like, why? Why this color? Why? It's just so weird looking. Well, I guess it's not weird, but awkward, more to the point. But yeah, I mean, some of these paint choices that Hasbro comes up with, I mean, whether it's in the comics or not, it's just redundant. I mean, jeez, look at this. It's like, it's a very nice blue. It's not metallic, unfortunately. It's not like the Robots in Disguise version. But, I mean, just the head, the color, it's just, it's the only turquoise color on this figure right here. In bot mode, there's no other presence of this turquoise color rather than just the head. It's like, what was the point? In the terms of articulation for this mode, just, you know, this and his like gimmick here, in which you can't see it. Let me try it now. There you go. So it's kind of like a drill with this spinning missile of doom, but other than that, there's really not much. And also, for good standards, there's not much in the terms of robot kibble. At first I was like really amazed with how the panel lines just really conceal this mode. I mean, it doesn't even really look like a Transformer. It looks like a robotic shark. That's it. There's no light piping to the eyes, and it's not even asymmetrical this time, unlike the Robots in Disguise one, which is. The eyes are pretty much one and the same. Really no way to actually get him to sit properly without a figure art stand or one of those third-party knockoff stands. I don't have one on me at the moment, so this is how it's going to be. So for a quick size comparisons, just for the heck of it, let's bring in one of his companions, the Predacon Slapper. So there you go. And let's bring back in Sky-Byte, the Robots in Disguise one. As you can see, there is much of a change in evolution. So there's that. And then, just because, here's Megatron, leader of the Predacons. Yeah, he's a big boy. You really cannot see him. There you go. Alright. Well, that's about enough of that. Other contents that came with this figure is obviously his instruction manual. It's not much. It's pretty much your basic instructions on how to transform the figure from beast mode to robot mode and then some. So we don't really have to go into it about that. So yeah, that's really it. So I'll just go ahead and get him all set up for the transformation, but I have to recharge my batteries, so I will be right back. So stay tuned. Alright, on to the transformation of Sky-Byte into his robot mode, and may I tell you, this is only the third time I've done this. So, while I may have some experience with it, it is very complicated, so here we go. Hopefully I won't screw this up. This transformation is simple enough. They are actually pretty tight. I just didn't have it adjusted properly, but nevertheless, there he is, Sky-Byte in his full robot mode, as you can see. Sorry, he is a really, really tall figure. For a Voyager scale figure, he's a lot taller than Springer. Let's just say that, even though I don't have Springer with me at the moment. He does have his problems, I will say that. But let's just go ahead and get this out of the way, because somebody's going to ask eventually. Here he is with size comparisons between the original Sky-Byte. So there you go. He's a lot taller, ain't he? And he's very thin. Very much so. I mean, this is like the perfect robot mode. Minus the colors. I mean, I know that the car one really blows this one out of the water. No pun intended. But I mean, look at this. He's got a shark. The shark's head for his butt. And he's got so much kibble. So much kibble in his bot mode. Now look at Sky-Byte of today. This is like perfect. I mean, I've really got no complaints minus the paint job. This is like the Sky-Byte figure that I've always wanted. Yes, I know this is a bit of an eyesore. The fact that Hasbro could have done something about this head. And, you know, I mean, with a little bit of some modding down here, you could probably get it to collapse in a bit more. But, you know what, it's not a big deal to me because I've seen worse. I really have. This is an amazing figure. He's loaded in the terms of articulation. Let's take a look at that articulation. As a matter of fact, he's got a swivel head, unfortunately. He doesn't have a ball joint unless you cheat, but it doesn't stay in place. Swivel to the shoulders. He's also got a pivoting joint right here, which makes it act like a universal joint, even though it isn't. Bicep swivel, 90-degree bend at the elbow on this side. He's got wrist rotation, but that's due to the gimmick, as you can see. Same thing on this side right here, pretty much the same, except for the wrists. It's just a hinge. As you can see, it's part of the transformation. There's no way to give it a ball joint, I guess. No waist rotation. He's got leg movement down here. It's kind of hindered, but only about that far. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's a little more. Okay, I was wrong. It is quite a bit. Alright, it's straight. So it does go pretty far then. Thigh swivel, pretty good. He's got a single jointed knee. But it is kind of double jointed if you cheat. But then again, you're pretty much breaking the figure that way. And his feet, they pivot up and down. Unfortunately, there is no ankle pivot. Why I'm having a hard time getting him to stand. I mean, this figure, I've messed around with him quite a bit. And he's not loose in any place except for this shoulder bit right here. As you can see, it's just a little heavy. So he's got this missile launcher right here. Like I said earlier in the review, this was broken. I had to pry it open and fix it. And as you can see, it works pretty fine now. Even though it still doesn't shoot as far as it should. But that's only due to the fact that Hasbro used a very weak spring. For the legs down here, everything on this figure is pretty good except for this. Unfortunately, these pieces right here don't collapse any more than this, so you really can't hide this. But from up front, obviously, when you look at him up front, you can't notice it. I'm just going to go ahead and throw in a few more size comparisons and call this review a day. So let's bring in his, not really his companion, but more of his arch nemesis in the terms of loyalty to Megatron's Scourge. And also Megatron, who just happened to knock down Sky-Byte. So, yeah. And last but not least, bring in his companion one more time, or at least one of them, Slapper. So as you can see, he is pretty tall. Is he better than the original? Honestly, as much as I love the original, the color scheme was just perfect. He's got more paint apps than the actual shark mode for this Sky-Byte here. It's just, It's just something like comparing night and day. Even though this one wins in the terms of paint apps, the fact is this one is more modernized and the proportions are just absolutely perfect. I really got no complaints except for the blasted paint job and the fact that he doesn't have any light piping. Now I can exclude the fact that his gimmick didn't work at first because that varies. That was mine. That was my toy, my issue that I had to take care of, and I was able to fix it, thankfully. So there's no problems with that gimmick whatsoever, except for the fact that it's not a strong spring. It really isn't. Other than that, that's it. I got nothing else to say. He's worth it. I know a lot of people complain about that turquoise blue at the front because it's the only turquoise color on this figure. I don't know what Hasbro was thinking. I guess if this was just completely blue, it just, you know, it wouldn't be that much in the terms of color. I mean, you would have some silver here, and the rest is that dull gray. That's just the plastic itself, a bit of silver to the teeth, or I mean white. And then it's the Predacon crystal that's like pink or purple, but there's not really that much color on this guy except for the gold face and the red eyes, which, you know, there's no light piping. So, yeah, I mean, it's your personal opinion whether or not you think this figure's good, whether or not you think he's worth it. I'm done with this review. That's it. Questions, comments, you can leave them down below. And until we meet again, that's me, RedX, signing out. I'll talk to you all later. I will not miss, so here we go. Son of a... God! Mother... Okay, I will be honest, I do not have the world's steadiest hands, obviously. But it shouldn't be this hard, it really shouldn't. Let's give it a whirl right here and hope for the best. Hit the target!